Kamala the Cop. I think a lot of us saw this coming. What is up, family? It's your girl T, aka the nappy-headed jojoba. Not nappy, not jojoba, the nappy-headed jojoba. Or save yourself some time and just call me T. Well, Biden announced Kamala Harris as his running mate yesterday in what feels like a punch that was telegraphed like last year. Plus, it was leaked a week or two ago anyway. I mean, we knew. Kamala dropped out of the primary before Super Tuesday. And considering how much of a cash cow she is when it comes to securing bribes, I mean donations, from the corporate elite and super PACs, it was pretty clear where this was all going as soon as the DNC made it clear that they were going to force Biden as the party nominee. I have said my piece about my feelings on Biden several times, in fact, so that is well-worn ground, no need to cover that again. And the selection of Kamala Harris as his would-be VP is, while completely expected, also deeply cynical. This is unabashed identity politics. We all remember when Jim Crow Joe blessed us with his promise to pick a woman as his VP, and he did y'all one better, and he picked a biracial. From where I stand, there can only be two things happening with all the people I'm seeing on the internet celebrating this announcement. One, they are deluded liars, or two, they are uninformed. If you are sincerely excited about Kamala the Cop being his running mate, then you just don't know who Kamala Harris actually is. At this point, I should probably reiterate something that I say every time I talk about these topics. I appreciate the urgency of getting Trump out of office as much as, and probably more than anyone. After all, I am literally planning my emigration because of him. What I don't understand is this widespread inability to be honest about how shitty this other so-called option is. It is the same tired, lazy, binary dipshittery of, well, if this guy is bad, then this guy is good. No, two things can be bad. Almost equally bad, in fact, and we need to be honest about that. It's one thing to be real and talk about harm reduction or Trump as an existential threat, which are buzzwords that the left likes to use a lot. At least that's keeping it a buck. But Nina Turner put it perfectly when she said that this is a choice between eating a half bowl of shit or a full bowl of shit. Either way, you're still eating shit. The inability of so many people to simply be honest about this is troubling because it speaks to the fact that if, and it's a big if, Creepy Joe and Officer Kamala are able to even pull this off, which, by the way, big if, because we already know that Trump supporters will walk over a bed of nails that is also on fire to go vote for that sentient pile of shit. But if the blue ties are able to get the win and people are acting like this ticket somehow represents a promise of progress in these United States, y'all are fucking doomed. Because people are already out here celebrating Kamala the Cop as if she's some kind of God-sent solution. There will be zero accountability, zero pressure, zero incentive for the politicians and the corporate ruling class to change a goddamn thing. Indeed, it will be a return to normal, meaning more of the pro-corporate, anti-poor and working class, anti-black racist policies that we have right now, except returning to the days of yore when the racism was a little bit more pinky up. I guess a lot of people just miss the days when racists had to be a bit more sneaky. As many of y'all know, I am privileged enough to be spared the ethical and emotional dilemma here because I don't even live in a swing state. For those of y'all who do live in swing states, I completely understand and respect feeling compelled to hold your nose and vote Biden-Harris. I'm just incensed by the delusion and the outright lying. As if it makes sense to just completely ignore Kamala Harris's entire track record and career and act like she's this wonderful choice simply because she's a biracial woman. Not to mention the fuckwits who are already trying to blame literally anyone who states facts about the fact that this ticket is trash. You know, these non-logic arguments, often from boomers, about how anyone who points out the facts about Biden being racist, a predator, and unfit, just like Trump is racist, a predator, and unfit, somehow people go through the mental gymnastics of saying those of us who say these things, despite them being true, are responsible if Trump wins again. Girl, I ain't even got the time. It is no one else's responsibility to participate in these kinds of delusions and willful ignorance. Deep down, I think these people know just as well as the rest of us that this ticket is fucking weak. They just want to be preemptively ready to blame progressives in the event Biden, in fact, loses. Then again, if there's anything on which I've gained complete clarity in the past several months, it's that this country isn't going to change for the better either way. At least not significantly enough while I am still walking this earth. Project Exodus. Because when we take into account access to information, which is unprecedented because of the internet, as well as sharing of information through social media, with all this happening, with all of us able to actually become educated on what is really going on with this government and in this country, with all these people waking up and learning all this stuff, how is it that we don't have a full-on revolt? Why don't we have everyone in the streets right now demanding what is ours? If I'm not already being watched by COINTELPRO, I'm going to be after today. Knowing the things we know, this entire country should be stepping up the way Portland is. Instead, we have moderately and poorly attended marches. In my opinion, we are way past the point of making cardboard signs and chanting no justice, no peace. Bottom line, if we were going to do what we needed to do, we would have been did it. Nah, most people just aren't willing to do what we would need to do. Or they're uninformed and they like it that way. It is plain to see that the ambitions of the greedy, evil, and power-hungry will forever outpace the ambitions of those of us who value humanity. This has been proven time and time again throughout history, which is why for those of us who realize that we are just never going to get there, we're going to let them keep walking all over us and exploiting us and abusing us, it's time for those of us who realize that to go, girl. Of course we should vote and do all of the things, but this election is theater. Both teams, the Democrats and the Republicans, have made it clear that they don't give a fuck about you. Like, really many, several, quite a lot of times. To quote Kimberly Latrice Jones, who I believe was quoting one of her activist friends when she said this, poor people vote, rich people lobby. Having said that, voting still matters, especially locally, because that is where we get at least a little taste of democracy. Unlike with this sham of an electoral college system, a relic from fucking slavery. Local elections are just as, and in my opinion, more important than national ones. So make sure you're set up to vote by mail or vote absentee. It is the same thing by whatever the deadlines are in your state, because you need to make sure that you are ready to vote out your local drumfs. I'm dead ass. Drumpf isn't the only drumpf. And if you're leaving a comment to ask me, so you're still not gonna vote for Biden? Then you haven't been listening. Those commenters will be ignored at best or blocked with prejudice at worst. It really depends on how dehydrated and cranky I'm feeling in that moment. That's it, short rant. I know a lot of you guys were asking me on Instagram what my thoughts were after the announcement yesterday, so I figured I'd just go ahead and make a video here, but I gotta get back to work. That's why y'all haven't been seeing me as much lately, because I gotta grind and save up my nest egg to get the hell out of Dodge. I'd set a 3-year plan originally to move out of these United States, but the way things are looking, might have to shorten that timeline. I'd like to be out of here by November, ideally. So here's hoping Shorty Rowe will stop f***ing around. That's it for me today, but shout out and thank you to everyone who supported my recent round of merch. With these mugs, the tea comes piping hot. And I will leave you guys with the bit of advice that my mug is providing to us all right now. And that advice is to never trust anyone with a Morphe code. Bye.
That's a nappy-headed hose there, I'm going to tell you that now.